Hello, everyone. We're just going to give a couple of more minutes just to give people an opportunity to join. But thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And if you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to add them in the chat or unmute yourself if you'd like. Either way is fine. We'll give everybody just one more minute and then we'll get started, just in case. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us this afternoon. This is an informational webinar on the request for applications for the 2026 Hope Leaders. We're going into our fourth cohort, and this year we've opened it up to not just cancer biologists, but also translational oncologists. So appreciate you joining us today. My name is Tasha Carlisle. I'm a research specialist in the Community Engagement and Health Equity Group at the Cancer Center. And then, Kat, I'll let you introduce yourself really briefly as well.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us today. I'm Kat. I'm a community affairs specialist over at the University of Illinois Cancer Center. So we're happy to be here and share a bit of information about our Hope Leaders program today.
And as I said previously, if you have any questions as we're going along, feel free to unmute yourself and ask them or type them in the chat. This is meant to be a bit more of a discussion than just us telling you everything. So if you do have questions, feel free to just ask as we're going along. And also, this is being recorded, just so you're aware, as we will post it up on the Hope Leaders page for any people who were unable to join us today. So we have a relatively short agenda, but it will likely take most of the hour, if not the whole hour. So just briefly, what is Hope Leaders? A testimonial from past and current Hope Leaders, where to find the application, how to apply, an example of a successful application, and then questions at the end. The University of Illinois Cancer Center, our mission is to provide innovative care designed to eliminate cancer health inequities by elevating the voices of our diverse communities as stakeholders in discovery, education, and the provision of care. The University of Illinois Cancer Center's vision is to eliminate cancer health inequities and improve cancer outcomes for all. So that's why we're all here. Here's a picture of our CHE team that we need to update in our next time that we have us all together at once. But here's most of these people are pretty current. So look at all these lovely smiling faces that you get to work with. And also, just a note, the NIH has recently committed to investing in the development and expansion of novel alternative methods in biomedical research going forward. And the University of Illinois Cancer Center, CHE office is here to support basic researchers to find innovative ways to better serve our patient population. So, working directly with our community partners and the community at large. So, what is Hope Leaders? So, Hope Leaders, this program is managed by the CHE, so Community Engagement and Health Equity Office of the Cancer Center. The program builds and strengthens bench research, laboratory, and community-based organization partnerships. It teaches the community members the power and potential of basic research and teaches basic researchers how to approach community to work together and to share relevant cancer research results. So that is really the ultimate goal of this program. And also, in summary, the goal of Hope Leaders is to build authentic community academic partnerships that shifts lab science paradigms for cancer health equity. And so the goal is to work directly with the community partner to help inform your research and develop and maintain research cooperation between community-based organizations from Black and Brown neighborhoods in Cook County and the Cancer Center in order to drive highly relevant focused cancer research projects to benefit the community and the University of Illinois Cancer Center researchers. Um, and this program promotes community partnerships that can encourage basic cancer researchers to engage in bench science that is more relevant and in underserved communities in Cook County, and to promote the careers of young researchers by teaching ways to build basic cancer projects with the aid and support of under-researched communities. And so we'll start a little bit by introducing Alexa Gaja. So she was part of our cohort one, our very initial, test subject cohort. And their team did a phenomenal job working directly with Equal Hope. So this is a picture of the team, both Alexa in the middle-ish, and then representative from Equal Hope are on the other side. So Alexa, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and give a short experience of your time during the Hope Leaders program.
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, I'm Alexa Gaida. During the time that I was part of the Hope Leaders program, I was a graduate student in Dr. Emma Ayers' lab. Now I'm part of Dr. Jalise Ruman's lab as a postdoc. But during my time in the Hope Leaders program, since we were the first cohort, it was definitely a learning experience. We weren't really sure what we were getting ourselves into, but it turned out to be a really impactful experience for me. So I'm primarily a wet lab scientist. I'm at the bench all day, every day. So it was nice to get out into the community and see the community members that ultimately our research should ultimately be benefiting, whether it be in a few months, a few years, decades, and so on. So it really helps to give you a different perspective, especially as like a younger trainee, in terms of where you want your research eventually to go later down the line. And you also learn how to communicate with community members and translate your research into more layman's terms rather than just for a purely scientific audience. And in addition to that, you start to gain a different perspective in terms of what questions you should be answering as a scientist and where your research should be going, because the concerns of the community don't necessarily align with the interests of scientists. And so it's really good to bridge that gap and hear what the community has to say about the work you're doing. and what direction they ultimately want you to take. So, yeah, ultimately it was a really great experience. Helps you get out of the lab and makes yourself visible to the community. Because I feel like, especially with COVID and everything that happened there is a lot of distrust with scientists. And typically you only end up with physicians that are communicating with community members, but not so much just scientists. So it's important to get out there, make yourself visible, talk with the community, let them know that you are an actual real person, that you're approachable, and available to answer any questions that they have. So it was an overall really positive experience for me.
Nice. Thank you so much, Alexa. I see that Teamer's on as well. Teamer, if you wanted to just give a little bit of your experience, that would be wonderful,
Sure.
if you don't mind.
My name is Timur. I'm a third-year PhD student in the lab of Amin Salahuddin, and I'm part of cohort 2 for Hope Leaders, working with Peer Plus as an organization, and they've been fantastic. For me, it's been a learning experience in a much more like direct way, even for my PhD, which is that the communication with the community, with the feedback from Peer Plus, that we're still working on to even get more of it as we're heading into like the culmination of this project, um, has been really satisfying because it's helped me define my PhD a little bit. And it's helped me define how I'm talking about my PhD, how I'm presenting it, how I'm like wrapping the whole story into something that's appealing to everybody, into a way that makes it tangible and useful. So that's been really helpful because the community is the closest to who hopefully I would be serving as a physician in the future. It's very direct to talk to them about the science, as opposed to hoping that eventually something will get published and something will be read. So it's been a nice, definitely like a two-way road, I guess, to get that feedback and also try to talk about our science in a way that's like approachable. So we have a culmination of the project coming up soon. Especially getting a lot more youth involved is makes Hope Leaders as corny as enough as it is to say even more hopeful, because the idea is that what we're doing is hopefully going to help some students get a little bit excited about our science, and then raise a lot of other worker bees for the academia for PhD and medicine, and obviously make a tangible difference. So that'd be great.
And I just want to say also that the community partners that Alexa and Teamer worked with were quite different. So their experiences of working with the community is going to be a little bit different. So with Alexa's team and with Equal Hope, they didn't work so much with students, whereas with Teamer's community partner, she works quite a bit. Peer Plus works quite a bit with students. So then they just have a different audience for their project and for their program. So it really depends on the community partner and what that will look like as far as throughout the program. So, but we can help support you regardless of what your community partner or community looks like. All right, so we'll get down to all of the details, the nitty-gritty details now. We'll start with who can apply. So you must be a University of Illinois Cancer Center member. And the PI who's applying cannot be a director level, or above at the university. PIs with less than 2 years of experience in community engagement are encouraged to apply. But of course, anybody can apply, and also undergraduate trainees will be considered moving forward. And so the award is $30,000 over 2 years. The first year is 20,000, and then the second year is 10,000. The disbursement, though, is based on and determined on your successful completion of all deliverables throughout the year. And we'll work with you on those, but it is definitely important that you finish the deliverables for the first year before the second year's disbursement happens. And award funds must be used on this proposed project. And part of this project, also part of your deliverables, and I just want to be really clear about this because there's been some discussion over the years, is that part of the requirements are that you must go out into the community as a scientist. So part of working with the community partners is going out into the community that they are serving and that they are working closely with. And so this could include time outside of your regular 9 to 5 hours, including evenings and weekends. It won't be every month or necessarily every quarter, but those types of things will happen based on the community that your community partner is serving. So there will be part of the requirements is to attend some of their community events, and often those are on nights and weekends. So I just wanted to be really clear about that because we've had some questions in the past. So the RFA has been announced and it has been sent out, but if you have any questions or need more information, you can go to this link. And Kat, if you wouldn't mind adding it to, adding it to the chat so that everybody can see it. So this is the link for Hope Leaders, and then the application is a red cap and it's based here. And then if you have any questions or need more information, we'll share the email at the end also. All right, so on to application. I'm actually going to stop sharing for a little bit because we thought it might be nicer if Kat just walked you through the actual application on the RFA so you can see it, but then we'll go through the screenshots as well really quickly once she's done that.
Perfect. Sounds good. And I just dropped both links into the chat. So that first one will direct you to our Hope Leaders webpage, and then the second link is directly to the application link. But yes, give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here and we can go over all of that. Okay, perfect. And can you all see the RUI Health webpage right now? Just want to confirm. Okay, perfect. So sounds good. If you follow, there's a few ways to access the application. So first I'll walk you through visiting it through our website. So here you can also find some additional information about the Hope Leaders program, including current and past cohorts here. And then under Hope Leaders here, you will see a link that directs you to a page with all of our application information. So if you were to follow this link right here, it would take you, let's pull this up, to our RFA. Okay, which looks like this. And also hyperlinked within the RFA, you'll find the direct REDCap link as well. But here you will find all the information that you need. So right now, right here, we have an overview, which Tasha pretty much covered already. Just wanted to highlight some key takeaways that are listed here. So wanted to let you all know, research must concern discovery science in cancer. Each application must include at least one full member from the CB or TO program, and one trainee. There is a budget section, so budgets will include expenses related to scientific cost and trainee support. Awarded applicants will be paired with community partners, as mentioned, who have successfully competed for their own awards and funding. So as you all are working on your applications, we'll also have our community partners who are working on their applications, and that's how folks will be paired together. Awarded applicants will work closely with us from the CE team. And then applicants can include ancillary projects that expand upon funded and ongoing research. Okay, right here, this section walks you through eligibility. And then also, I just wanted to touch base on the different sections of the application, which I'll also review quickly within the REDCap link, just so you know what it looks like and what to expect. But the first section will include information about the PI and trainee. The second section is on narrative and bio sketches. So included in your application will be a one-page narrative. And we're saying that, the most responsive applicants will describe a specific discovery research project that is pragmatically feasible to complete within a 1.5 years. So as you may know, the Hope Leaders program itself is 2 years, but we want you to kind of think about the project to be completed within that kind of 1.5 year time frame. And then within your narrative that you'll submit, about 3/4 of the document will describe your proposed project, and then we break down exactly what that should include. So here you'll see describes, or excuse me, how the project addresses the aims of the PI's research and program. Describe how your cancer discovery research will advance our understanding of what drives catchment disparities and or potential solutions to address catchment disparities, as well as how the project leverages one or more shared resources, and then also how community will give actionable input on the proposed approach, as well as what potential project findings will be disseminated to the community. And the last fourth of the page of your narrative should describe expected outcomes and highlight the utility of gaining skills in community outreach and engagement. And so that should include how the PI's future cancer discovery research, as well as how that will benefit from trainings and engagement with us and community partners, as well as how the PI and trainees' professional careers will benefit from trainings and engagement with CE and community partners. So throughout your application process, feel free to come back to this full page for additional information. But yeah, just wanted to highlight that, as well as bio sketches for key personnel will also be included within your application. The final section is our budget section. It's a budget justification for scientific cost and trainees. So within that, please complete, there's a template that I will review as well. And we break down allowable expenses. So allowable expenses include the following. We have research supplies, Cancer Center and RRC shared resource expenses, project and trainees salaries, stipends, software, et cetera. And then we also have a breakdown of our non-allowable expenses. So when you are completing the budget section, just, make sure to reference this for a comprehensive list. And then also down here, almost done with this page, funding priorities are listed here. So we said projects that foster intra or inter-programmatic collaborations, as well as projects that leverage our shared resources, projects that address cancer center priority cancers. So our priority cancers include breast, prostate, lung, colorectal, and liver HCC. Then also we have, projects that address cancer center priority populations, as Tasha mentioned earlier, that will be predominantly Black and Brown communities. And then projects that are led by PIs and trainees with less than 2 years of experience in community engagement. As far as one additional thing, projects that showcase robust long-term plans to engage community stakeholders. And so, yep, here's just a breakdown of the criteria, the review criteria that will be taken into consideration when reviewing all applications, and as well as our post-award guidelines. So I just want to also emphasize that Tasha did touch on this, but it will be required. There will be some times where commitment is required outside of working hours as well as on the weekends. But this is very much a community based program, and the expectation is that our researchers will be engaging with the community directly, visiting their host sites, and sharing information that way as well. So yeah, I just wanted to include all of that information here. And then one more thing I just wanted to show is the direct link, is that REDCap link. So this is where all of your information will go. Also here within the REDCap link is hyperlinked the full RFA with all of those details. You'll enter all of your information here. Section 12 is where you will upload that narrative section. And then the final section here is the budget justification section. And so within the budget justification section, we also have linked a template for your budget. So I also have that pulled up here that I can show you as well. So yep, here's what the budget instructions look like. The few different sections. So we talked through salary and wages, research supplies, others, indirect cost, capped at 10% of direct costs. And then we highlight the different funding requirements listed here, which are allowable expenses, as well as all of the non-allowable expenses. So please reference all of this. And then down here, you'll actually see a template for your budget. So summary, details, supplies, travel, others, and indirect cost. But yeah, all this information is available to you. And yeah, that's about all I have for right now. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Great. Thank you, Kat. And also just reiterating, so under the travel also, because you'll be going out to the community, just factor in either mileage or Ubers just so that it's part of your budget justification as well. And then I'll start sharing again the okay, so we went over this a little bit already, but I just wanted to quickly. So section one, again, for the application is the PI and trainee information. Section two, narrative and bio sketches, key personnel and trainee. And section three, this is the budget justification. All of that Kat already went over, but just wanted to reiterate. And here's the details of the PI and trainee information. But again, it is listed out in the application as well. The one-page narrative she went over already. If you have any questions here, feel free to type in the chat or ask. And we can give you contacts for shared resources. And if you need any of these reports that we mentioned, also just let us know. Again, so by section two, bio sketches for both the trainee and the PI or co-PI, budget justification, salary ranges. Most of it's pretty straightforward. I think the reason why we keep mentioning travel and going out to the community is sometimes it's left off of the application. So we just want to be really clear that it's included. And then budget justification is one of the last things, and also wanted to reiterate, if the budget justification is not attached, it is not considered a complete application. So then we'd have to go back and make sure that that part is added if you don't include it. So, and again, Kat said, here's the link. This is right on the red cap. So you can click there and get the instructions and the format for completing the budget justification. And then section three, here are the permitted expenses. She already went over them, so I won't go into detail, but just listing them out again. And unpermitted expenses, please keep an eye on this and make sure to not include this in your application as part of your budget. We will come back to you if it is in there as part of your budget. So, and here's the budget template. Again, this is available on the red cap as well. Funding priorities. So again, these are not requirements. So if you don't fit one of these, still consider applying. But they will be given priority if a PI fits into these categories, if their proposal, fits into these categories. So, but please don't let that hold you back from applying if it's not something that fits in with what you're already doing. So the scaling system, so there are a few sections that you'll see within the application. The scaling system goes from 1 to 5 least impactful to most impactful. And this is in relation to the relevance, equity, growth potential, and overall impact. Each section of the application notes how much weight each question has on your score. And each of the applications is reviewed by at least 3 people within the Cancer Center. And after grant review by a panel of biologists and community stakeholders, then the the questions will be asked. Does the research team have people from underrepresented populations? Does the proposed project focus on University of Illinois Cancer Center priority cancers? So those are definitely something that we consider when reviewing the applications. So scaling system, relevance, as I mentioned before, does the project address basic scientists' specific aims and cancer center priorities at large? Equity potential, will the project address cancer disparities? Growth potential, the likelihood of project leading to a grant application? And overall impact, does the project promote community engaged cancer research? And again, these are on a scale of 1 to 5 and based on the information that you provide. So also, please be clear and include as much information as you can in each of these sections and related to each of these areas. Here is a quick example of a successful application, but also want to be clear that your application does not need to look like this at all. It needs to be relevant to your own project and can deviate from this in whatever way makes the most sense for your project. So a few of the reasons why this was a successful application or viewed as a successful application is the project was built on the lab's strength. The Saxena lab recently had published information on neuroblastoma zebrafish model. Also, the trainee was a strong student and is from an underrepresented population. The project can be feasibly completed within 18 months, which is the goal. And part of that reason is that it takes a little while for you to develop a relationship with the community partners. So if you're planning on doing the research for the whole 2 years, it just may be quite difficult to then be able to do a final dissemination at the end of the 2 years, which is part of the project goals. So also the PI was clear on how the dissemination of basic research results can be beneficial to the community. Again, we're not looking for you to mimic this exactly, but you do need to include those types of points within your narrative. And again, reiterating that this project must be, and you must plan on going out into the community and working with the community directly. And so, what does that look like, and how do you foresee that happening in relation to your project? All right, that is all. That was much faster than I was expecting. Does anybody have any questions? I'll stop sharing as well. So you, looks like feel free to unmute yourself if you do have any questions or type them in the chat. Also, Kat just shared the email address in the chat as well. If you have any questions after the training, feel free to email them directly to, so if you email them directly to this email address, then both Kat and myself will see and we can both reply. So it makes it a lot easier that it's not just going into one person's mailbox, and then we're all able to reply to any questions or concerns that you may have. And if you need any help with your application, or if you're unsure on some of the portions, please feel free to reach out with this email address as well. We are here to support you and to help you to submit a successful application. So don't feel like you're all on your own. That's what we're here for, and we'll be here for you throughout the entire program if you're accepted. That is our role, both Kat and mine, is to support you in to make this program as successful as possible. And also at the beginning of the program, there are quite a few trainings that will help you to become a little bit more familiar with your community partner, but also with community engaged research, as we're very well aware that many scientists have not done a lot of community engagement and community research. And so, like actually going out into the community, most of the scientists we're working with are wet lab scientists, so they just don't have that experience, and we're not expecting you to. So, one of the big points of this program is to help show people and teach people how to go out into the community and work with the community. So if you don't have that experience, that's actually perfect. So, and the community partners have been integral in that process, as well as that is their forte and their strength, is working in and speaking with the community. So This program has been it's been amazing actually to see the scientists really grow and the community partners learn and get very excited about the science. So it's been really fun and cool for me to see. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. You can feel free to type or unmute yourself. Either one is fine. We'll just give a couple of minutes and then if not, we'll give you part of your day back. Well, okay, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to email that Hope Leaders email address and really appreciate your time today. Have a wonderful day.
Great. Thanks all. Take care.